because you have it kind of groups things together somewhat well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was starting, so my goal was, I had actually thought, well, we'll meet, we'll go to the live meeting. Well, I can't even make it to that, but plan to watch the recording, and then thought, okay, then I'll really kick in the rest of the week and start and know that I'd be turning something in on week 3, since he was saying every other week or whatever. But then I thought, oh, I could probably push to get one done maybe by the end of this week. And so I had started the Java collections.
Yeah, the Java collections and JUnit are typically the easiest ones.
Okay, so did you just make another sheet to put those in saying that these are the work or the order? I mean, that's just the order he has them in, right?
It might be. We might have mixed 1 or 2 of these up.
Okay.
Just so it made
Yeah,
more
so
sense.
like when I read through this list, I thought, I remember what MVC is. I'm thinking that was the model and the view and the control. I thought I recognized that. And I thought I recognized JUnit tests. We talked about those. We used them. I thought I knew I thought I knew Java collections. And when I opened up and said, what's a queue? What are these? We didn't talk about any of those.
I might have my code still from that.
But did you take it from Brother Tuckett then the first time?
Yeah, he's like the only one who teaches this.
Well, that's what I thought, because I know in one of my groups from 262 last one said, oh, don't take it from him. And I went back on when it was time and I said, he's the only one that's offered to be taking it from.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't have an issue with the instructor. I just have an issue with the class structure because it is terrible.
Right.
Because you start out in an F and you work your way up. And
yeah, I figured that's going to stress me out. Yeah, I'm thinking, no. I work really hard of just tell me what you want to do when and what you're expecting, and I can do that.
Yeah. No, you have to kind of do your own thing. Like you could do nothing for the first 11 weeks and then do stuff the last 3 weeks and still pass, but that's not really feasible.
Right. Well, I know that we want to try and get to I saw that if you don't by week 10 have a basic level in the areas, then you're not allowed to do the project. And so you'll still continue to get to a basic level or whatever, but you can't get more than a C or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, most people who get to the C point anyway kind of just stop in my experience because it kind of sucks to continue.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so how did you lay out your, like, so I know it talked about, like, last week we were supposed to read the different agile, like Scrum and DAD or whatever, and choose what style or whatever it is that we're wanting to do as a group.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys do for that? Do we have to actually turn anything in writing, or we're just showing on our Excel somehow that we're meeting to meet this topic?
Because we never put anything in the Excel about that. We just kind of commented on it. And then at the end of the semester, when you do your journal, you kind of maybe mention it. But since we meet like once a week instead of like daily stand-ups for agile stuff, it doesn't really affect us all that much.
Right.
We typically pick Scrum or something.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. Scrum looked the most, the ones that kind of stood out to me were, or the Scrum BAM or whatever, where it's a mix between Scrum and then you're still using a Kanban board or whatever to kind of view out, which reminded me of the Excel sheet where I'm saying this is where I'm laying out and this is where things are at. But
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so when we're actually looking at the assignment schedule on there, where like mine said assignment A, assignment B. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a format one of the other guys came up with, and it works for me. It works. Okay. We didn't get docked any points for anything. Your topic studies might differ, and when you submit code and stuff, and you'll kind of want to keep track because at the end of the semester you'll be doing this again.
Right.
But,
Well, I figure I can always adjust later and say, I found this wasn't working and I had to change it to this.
Mm-hmm. And also, if we like ever switch topics, because if someone can't make it, etc., we'll have to put that in here.
Okay.
So are we supposed to outline the whole semester, right? Like tonight, to say what topic we're going to be discussing each week?
Yep. That's due by the end of the week, or Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it says.
Yeah, like mine says Thursday, but it actually says 12:50. I'm pretty sure it's by 11:59 Mountain Time tomorrow or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, because the grade is to see how well you do at preparing ahead, kind of deal. Which is weird to me because I don't even do this at work.
Right. So you're saying that you added a sheet 1, which just laid out the topics. And then up here, you're just writing, I'm going to study topic 1, topic 2. And then as we meet as our group on Tuesday or whatever night we decide on, we'll cover these topics.
Yeah, pretty much. And because you'll cover the topics and they're normally 5 minutes or so, maybe less, just depending on how much you have to explain. I've seen people do presentations. I've seen people just present the code and explain.
Okay, and then it said that you don't always have to turn in a video with your code.
Yeah, you don't.
So like if I was going to try and do one, so I guess what I was just wondering, and I know it's going to take one, that's why I thought, I'll just pump out and try and get my collection stuff done to turn in, because he's talked about maybe doing one this week. I guess where I'm getting confused in reading is that he says you should try and get in the role of doing it every other week, but then you can always turn it in whenever you want. So what does that mean?
It means basically he's expected to grade them every other week, but if there's like a lull of people turning them in, you could turn them in more often and he'll grade them as he gets to it, basically.
Okay.
Because like if everyone in like both the classes, so like 100 people turn in code reviews, one professor has to grade all of it, kind of deal.
Right.
Which is why it's every other week.
Okay. But like if I turned one in this week and the next week I still felt I was ready, I could technically turn it in, but he's going to get to it whenever he gets to it.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. And then when we're writing the code, are we really just taking like a sample that we're reading in the tutorials or whatever and just tweaking it up to say, hey, you can do this, this, and this, or what is it that he's looking for?
Yeah, so I wrote the collection stuff last semester and I got, through it. He said it was fine. And basically I just put
and I made one class. See, I did the same thing. So I started with an array list because I remembered how to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought I'll just write a basic an array and show, hey, I can add it. I can take from it. You want to pull and find out what index or what's at this element. Here's this. And so I've written all of those and then thought, okay, that should count as a list. And then I should be able to go and then show a set or whatever the 5 things are, right?
Yeah, you just kind of do that for all of them. And I mean, he called this good.
Okay.
It just really depends. He'll give feedback too, so.
Right, and then I know you can adjust because just because we turned it in and he said it's not doesn't mean I'm out of luck. I just have to fix the areas or look into the things he's talking about.
Yeah, like I did the servlet too, and the first time I submitted it, it didn't have enough of what he was looking for. So I just added 15 lines of code, resubmitted it, and it worked for him. So.
Okay. Yeah, because that was also kind of a concern of mine too, because I'm like, are we generating an actual application or are we just showing an understanding of the code?
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on what one we're doing, because obviously if we were doing the MVC, you're going to have to show an interaction of a user moving through to another level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so some programs or some of those topics are going to require more of us. And what's essential, but I just thought for a collection, I'm just showing that I understand how they work. Though I've never used a queue. Have you ever used a queue? I was wondering, I can read and understand what it is, but I was just wondering when do you actually use it? Do you know?
A queue? A
Yeah.
queue could be used for like elevators or anywhere you could use a stack pretty much, where, you know, it's first in, last out kind of deal.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that's the best.
I guess you would use it maybe if you were having calls or other orders. So, I mean, a queue is still being used somewhat like you would when we're talking about a job or anything. Is I'm saying this is going in by someone and I want the particular person to pull it out, but it's got to come out in the order that it went in.
Yeah, let me see. I might have an actual example. So this isn't Java, it's Python. So I use like a dictionary, which is pretty much a queue for the most part. And you kind of just use it as it's coming out of it. Because I'm like looping through it and whatnot.
Right.
This is something quick I did for work.
Yeah, because I could read it and understand what it's supposed to do, but then I couldn't think in my mind where I would use it.
It really just depends on what you're trying to do. Most of the time, you're not going to use it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. At work for Java, I've used a tree map, never a hash map, a tree set, and not really an array list. It was like a different type of list.
Okay. Okay. And then, so I see like on yours, you didn't even put, like that one looks like, well, I guess you just wrote first element or whatever. Like I had wrote mine as saying it was a name or something. Like, here's some names.
Yeah, you can put whatever you want. Once I saw a guy just like make something that his family could use, kind of deal with it, and it worked for him and the teacher. And if you combine things, it also works. Like in the servlet, you could use JUnit, or you could use JUnit with this and combine them.
Okay.
Just as long as you get all of the code out there.
Right. Okay. So that's why I started with the collections. I thought, okay, I know some of them. I think I understand how they work. Let's just write it. And thought, I don't think he expects me to create a whole thing, whatever. And I thought, I'm just running them down and we'll just turn it in and see what happens. And then on the familiarity thing, so when you're done with this, did you just pump it up to your GitHub and then you just tell him to go there?
Yeah. Is that it? It's one of these. Hang on. Yeah. It looks like this.
Okay. And so, yeah, so you're just sending everything up to your GitHub account and then just saying, I want you to, find the file on Java collections or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, so back then he didn't specify the teaching videos pretty much. And so I'm like, I don't know what you want. But so.
And then there, obviously, it would be the URL code to wherever I posted. Well, and do the videos have to go to the GitHub, or can they be like a YouTube?
Yeah, they can just be YouTube. And
however, you're going to have him go to that video with a time.
Yeah.
Now, could you make your own just of you recording and talking about it and putting it up?
As far as I know, yeah, that's what a majority of people did.
Because I was just thinking, if we aren't meeting, or I was just wondering if you can, because I mean, obviously that's to just show that I can teach, and you could be talking as if you're teaching and showing it to someone and walking through it, but it's just showing that I'm saying I've got this.
Yeah. So like pretty much you'll be making a presentation over all the topics anyway, but
So every week we each make a presentation about the topic?
No. So the way that we've done it is we like listed out topics and then we just went through them one by one. So like I was responsible for topic 1 on week 3, but you may not have to do it until you put your familiarity in for that topic.
Okay, so you basically rolled out saying, okay, as we meet as a group, people could And so you're saying that that group assignment A or B is basically us saying we're going to cover during this group meeting topic 1 and 2, and these 2 people are going to cover those topics that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you not have to assign them out all the way down?
No, we did, but I erased other people's names.
Oh, I'm with you. So then so like right now we could just roll down the list of us and say, okay, we're doing this, this, and this. But then if, as we met, we could always change if we needed to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know where?
Okay. And then on the stuff on the side, is that what's required? I remember on the spreadsheet seeing when I downloaded the template or whatever, I remember seeing assignment A, assignment B.
I mean,
I'm just trying to look, as I'm looking at yours, knowing what I should be sort of be filling out on this thing for all the weeks. And then did you, when you did it all the way to the bottom, are you still writing topics past week 10?
So week 9, we finished all the topics. Week 10, we just kind of review. And then after that, it's the individual application thing like this. But so we didn't really meet after week 10, but we still kind of kept a chat or discussion going so that we could kind of like count that, because there's not really a point in meeting when you just have to do your individual project.
Okay. And so the end of, and then do they give you, will there be like ideas or things of what these projects are supposed to be in the end? Or
no.
Okay, so you just come up with something.
Yeah, you have to come up with something that can incorporate all of these, which is very hard because almost everybody posted on the discussion board. It's like, what is a good topic for this? Like, what can I do, kind of thing.
Okay, and then when we meet as a group, I mean, obviously we're not really, there's no one checking or saying, yes, you were doing that or not doing that in your group when you meet. How often was your group pretty good at showing up and doing those topics?
Yeah, for the most part. We had one guy drop like mid-semester, and then we had another guy who didn't show up until like week 8 or 9 and told us that he got really swamped. So it kind of just depends.
Okay. But so in here, outside of having different names of groups, is this pretty much what you turned in?
Yep.
Like you didn't put in, I mean, is there anything more required writing of what you, I'm just trying to, I mean, I've looked at his, because I'm looking at your screen, let me escape down. I was just trying to think what it was on there that we were supposed to, I can't, it's locked out. It's saying think hard.
Are you talking about what we're supposed to turn in for this assignment?
Yeah, I was just saying for this group assignment, what it was asking for.
It's pretty much this, but with your name filled in.
Okay, but just where it is for when you meet as a group?
Yeah, so like, let's say you wanted to teach topic 2, you'd put your name there. And then, well, so typically we've just like filled it out and then gone from there.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, you just fill in the different names and turn it in, and that's it.
Okay. And then, so like on your, and then I actually am putting on there when I'm planning to want to do a familiarity assessment as well.
Yeah, so this is very generic. Like
Right.
It just has the every other week, but if you submitted it like both weeks, you would just change it, kind of deal.
So what's the familiarity assessment? Is that where you contact the instructor and he reviews you, or
That is this.
or that's just you submitting that?
Well,
Yep,
you'll put that into the box. You'll go to where it says familiar review, and in the corner, like right-hand corner, there's a thing that says submit, and you'll click there and upload that.
Okay, and just submit that one topic. Or two
You
topics
can
for the week?
submit like all the topics at once if you want, or just one. However you want to do it.
I mean, obviously we have to do more than one a week to get through.
Yeah, I was noticing it's
All of these.
we have to do 14 topics in 10 weeks. It's the
Yeah,
9 weeks now.
yeah.
And then on the performance review, but and I saw him say something like, we don't have to do that till week 9 or something.
The professional thing.
Oh, professional. That's what it was. I'm like, it was something with a P.
Yeah, so that would be where the recordings, if we ever recorded the meeting, which we should, starting next week, you just like point to it and be like, so here I presented my topic, and then you would pull out some of your comments from discussion boards and be like, hey, I tried to help this person here. This is how it's being professional, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm only nervous because I don't even know all these topics. I don't mind putting my name on to say, oh, I'll try and, but I'm like, are they hard? Like,
let's see here. This one's kind of hard. This one's kind of hard. This one's hard if you look up the QC JSON, because that does not exist.
okay.
You pretty much only do the JSON part.
Okay. Well,
Um,
so do you do both because they're saying both, or you just focus on the JSON stuff?
most of the people just focused on JSON and then commented. I can't even find anything on QC JSON
Okay.
because there's very little online about it. And Hibernate is a real pain to set up, but once you get it set up, it's kind of easy.
Okay. So since you've been in this before, I know like right now I'm using still from 262. I just had left on because it was already there, NetBeans and Java 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have GitHub set up. Do we need everything that was in the syllabus already? Like I saw where it said Android Studio app, whatever, and I'm thinking, I don't even know will I need that? I didn't need it in 260. Well, is that something I need?
So if you do the individual project, they typically want it in an Android app, or I think they added one to where you could make a web server for it.
Okay.
And
So I will eventually probably need it if I get that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And
not
then,
right now.
but then I saw someone talking about servlets or whatever, and that they needed to download something for that really helped.
Servlets is Tomcat. And so let's see here. I think you just do this one, this one. Yeah. You can change that, but I have Apache Tomcat, and you just have to download Tomcat with.
Okay. So you can still use the same. It's just that I'm saying I'm going to be using this server.
Yeah, you have to download Tomcat.
Right. I know that's in the list. I know when I
Yeah.
get there, I'm going to have to obviously, but we do have topics that we're still going to have to add a few more things if we don't already have them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then my only other question is, I've looked at the book and I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to be focusing on. I get that the one is for if you need help remembering, but when I look at the book, it doesn't tell. I mean, I've clicked some of the links, but I'm thinking, okay, am I supposed to be focused here, or am I just going out and finding my own tutorials to fill out code to make these things work?
Good question. What book are you looking at?
Yeah, I don't know about a book.
Okay, so it says it was in the syllabus and it was called, it's only on iBook. I mean, you can get it for free. It's on there. One's called Doing More with Java.
Yeah.
And it tells the required tools. And then the other one was something with Java. It is doing
stuff with Java.
Yeah, I see them now.
Are those the books we're supposed to be following then?
Well, and that's what he talks. It says that it has all the code you'll need through the GitHub, which again is, you can click on the link and it'll take you to the GitHub thing where you can either zip them in, or I'm assuming you can look at them there.
Yeah, you can.
Because you could just open them and look at them. But I'm just wondering if anybody actually uses the books or if there's a better way. Because I look at a lot of times it looks like a PowerPoint, and you'll just see one picture, a little bit of writing, and then there's usually a lot of links. But as I'm looking, I'm thinking I don't see code, and I'm trying to find if I need to download all this stuff or I should be working on the one with doing stuff with Java. Like, I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be with those, and wondered if you've taken the class before, where are we really at with that?
So I've never used the books. I've used tutorials online, and because that simulates my work. Because if you know how to Google your problem, Stack Overflow will almost always answer it.
Right.
There are a bunch of YouTube tutorials that are good for like MVC and the Red stuff.
Okay.
Oh, I should have stopped sharing, didn't I?
Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, so some of these you'll definitely need like tutorials for, especially Hibernate, because it is literally the worst to set up. But code-wise, it's like one of the easier ones, but it's like getting to that point, which is hard.
Right, but we can also like email or Google saying, hey, I'm having trouble finding this. You know, what have you guys found that helps or whatever? And that's also what the discussion board could do as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because a lot of people had issues with Hibernate, and there are a bunch of different versions of Hibernate, and so sticking to like one or the other is better.
Okay. And so how far did you get in the class before?
I have probably half the code already. Most of the things I don't have are like the diagrams, which are just more of a time consuming.
Well, those, yeah, and I would say most of those are using like when we use the Paradigm or I don't remember what it was called, but we made the URLs, the UMLs.
Yeah, I don't have it installed anymore, but yeah, it's like Paradigm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of like lines pointing to code.
Right, where we had the boxes showing one thing and then the relationship.
Yeah, it's basically a flow chart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then but see, I remember only us making the one, we did one for each of the levels when we made our game of City of Erin or whatever.
Yeah, so that would be like the use case diagram kind of thing. State diagram is almost like what QA does, and you just like list it out in Excel, and you put like, so this is what it's supposed to do, and then here's what it did, blah, blah, blah. I might have examples. I don't remember. I do not.
Okay. No worries. Like I said, I kept telling myself, I'm going to wait and I'll work on what I can recognize and do and hope it'll be enough. I'll pump one in and see what it does. And I'll wait till his live meeting to really decide where things are at. But as I was reading, I'm thinking he's saying one thing, but then it says another here. I don't know what he wants.
Yeah, the structure is a mess.
Well, and say even it'll give that summary, like he says, oh, there's a thing to explain each one. It really is one slide, and he's summarizing almost what it said on the other page, and I didn't get it the first time.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so so I kind of read through thinking, okay, fine, I'll try and jump in and get at least one done to turn it in. He's saying we really should try and turn one in. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I went to open up NetBeans, and I thought, I don't even know how to get myself started today. I'm like, I'm done. I'm overwhelmed. I'm too much. Maybe we need to have a meeting and figure out where things are at.
Yeah, no, this is like one of the worst rated classes because after the last time I took it, they emailed everyone who took the class and was like, yeah, so this class got really low scores. We want to figure out what's wrong. And it still hasn't changed. So
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm not that I've still been holding a 4.0, and I really didn't want to have to lose that.
Well, welcome to that class.
That's what makes me nervous. And then
I mean,
I'm
So
reading about
this-
this project and went, what?
So this class doesn't really have like a do assignment, you know, 1 through 5 kind of thing, right? It's more of a teach ourselves these topics and share it with everybody.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like you learn and work at your own pace and turn it in whenever you can, but except before the week 10.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd recommend having most of it done by like week 8 or 9.
How fast does he usually get to really turn them back around? My thought was if you're waiting, I mean, obviously you can't wait as you're still moving on, but I mean, my thought was, I mean, you don't want to wait till week 8 to find out, or 10 or something, to find out half of them still didn't make it.
Yeah. So like, let's say you submitted something Saturday, you'd probably get it back Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest.
Okay. So he turns them fairly fast.
Yeah, it's not like a super long wait.
Okay. Okay. All right. So would you say we just need to pick plan? We need to already plan that we are planning topics that need to be taught next week then.
Yeah.
Now, do we need to teach them as a group or teach them individually or both?
You want to expand on that?
Yeah, for like our weekly like presentations or
Yeah. So for like, so if I'm teaching next week, I'm just going to explain to you guys about collections or whatnot. Be like, so here's what it is. Show you some code or a PowerPoint, however.
And
then if you guys
PowerPoint, you
have any
mean just
questions-
on those 5 things of saying this is what it is and here's a basic thing how you would enter it in?
Yeah, so like I had Hibernate before I had gotten to that point, and so I just like put a picture of code that someone else had written on there and being like, so this is an example. I can't really explain it, but here it is.
Okay.
So would it be beneficial? I mean, as far as for our individual stuff, is we do a topic and then do like a quick summary of what we learned, and then that's what we're going to be presenting to the group.
Yeah,
the
I
week
might have
after?
a PowerPoint. I probably still have my Hibernate one.
And then on the journal, is that just done in Word and we're just writing just our thoughts of how things are going?
Yeah, so I would write it in Excel or Word and just be like, here's this week, here's kind of what I learned. And then at the end of the class, you'll make like a PowerPoint or something about it to just like summarize kind of what you learned in the class,
Okay.
more or less.
So how long does each entry have to be for the week?
Man, I don't think he actually looks at your journal entry. He just cares about the PowerPoint or however you do it at the end. So
Okay.
kind of more whatever you want.
Okay.
So Hibernate. I just did what is Hibernate, blah blah blah, why you should use it, when or why not to use it, etc. And then some code. And that was my whole presentation.
Okay.
and what is that considered like a good presentation or do you know?
I think it's pretty average because based on what other people did, it's average.
Okay.
I mean, because we're more here to learn, I guess, because I didn't know anything about Hibernate when I made this one. So,
Okay.
So it's going to be more of a teach yourself and then teach everybody and teach others as well.
yeah, and kind of
That-
more of looking it up and like trying to teach kind of thing. Because,
Okay.
I mean, for coding, I learn best when I teach other people. But if I don't understand, I'm like, I don't know. And so if other people had questions, you know, I would write them down and then post on our weekly discussion board or something and answer those questions.
Okay. So moving forward, do we want to meet as a group like on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, or
I think we're supposed to meet every week. At
is it
least
weekly?
once.
Because we have to present. Somebody has to present each week, correct?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically every week.
And then so topic 2 was the
Threads.
threads something.
Yeah, and I don't have to be first. I mean, I'll totally do threads or whatever. Because threads is definitely harder than collections.
Right. So, like, say, I don't mind doing collections or whatever next week. I'm definitely tackling that one, and I know what that is.
Yeah. Let's see here. Everybody's name.
Yeah, and I thought we'd see. I was trying to think what his name.
Titan.
Yeah,
How you
or
pronounce
Tide
it?
Rudd or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking at everyone's name. It's real weird.
And I haven't looked to see if anybody else there, because I thought our group had 7,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do.
but I know that we only had I think the 5 of us.
Yeah, so it's here. Gary, I haven't heard from, or Ronald, and then Titan said he could make it, but would be
Late, right? And we're already like 30 minutes into from when we. And if he comes, that's great. But but yeah, I had seen that he had posted late today or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked to see if there was any way we could even get to their school, because sometimes the school, but when you click on their names, it says they have nothing else set up on their link. So there was no way for me to try and get even a school email address for them.
Yeah, it's really weird. If you go to the left side where it says inbox, you could do a new message
Okay.
at the top, and then if you select the course, you can scroll all the way down, and there's groups, and you could.
Well, I
email
could get to the groups. I could get there, but if you click on their names, it only shows their Canvas profile.
Yeah, it doesn't show their BYU.
If they didn't put any other links, like I scrolled in and it says this student has not included any other links. If they haven't put anything to get their email, there was no way for me to get it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I went and looked on those groups, and I even went to the people list for the course. And as you click on their profiles, they haven't put anything up for me to go get anything else.
But okay.
And then it looked like majority of us were on Central Time. There was one on Pacific.
Yeah, I'm on Central.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm Pacific.
Okay.
Yep, I live in Missouri.
Yeah, and I'm in Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm California.
Nice.
It's probably warmer than it is here.
Yeah, we actually got rain today.
I think we're supposed to be getting another big snowstorm.
Yeah, it snowed last week here.
Yeah, and we got snow. My husband was flying out to Italy, and he was trying to drive and get to the airport, and they hadn't plowed. It was pretty scary. So how come they listed as group assignment A or B? Does that just mean that you should be at least covering 2 topics?
Maybe.
I don't know. This is one of those vague things, but I was just reading, like, even on your side, you have, this is your personal stuff. This is where will be working, and it says group assignment A and B, and then you kind of put in 2 topics or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. This class is a mess.
Okay.
Well, I think,
Correct.
yeah, I think there are going to be a couple of weeks where we do have to teach too, just because what do we have left? 9 weeks for 14 assignments.
Yeah. Oh no, we definitely have to do. Are there? And you said that. I was trying to think. We probably should look to see which ones, blend the easiest together. But I guess it doesn't matter. Just run the list.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you don't have to, your presentation doesn't have to be perfect. I mean,
Well, because we're teaching and we're still learning ourselves. So.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm a programmer, I'm a senior developer, and man, I still learn like every day about new stuff. I'm like, man, if I didn't like to learn, this would be a crappy job.
Yeah, I'm actually not a programmer, so a lot of this is I'm always relearning this all over again.
Well, I'm usually really good at whatever I'm focused on for the semesters, because I can just dedicate all my time while I'm doing it. And I'm really good at looking. I mean, I would say most of these classes, we still have to go look. There's not always someone available, to get help. I did see that they have now added back in a drop-in tutor. Have you guys ever used any of those?
I've had to use tutors for other classes, but never programming ones.
Well, I've used tutors for the once or twice. Like I did when I did Oracle the first time.
Oh yeah, we had a.
And I had a TA. I spent a lot of time with TA Frank, and learned that Tuesday nights were a really good night because no one at the beginning of the week had thought about the lesson, whatever we were working. And I spent a lot of time. My husband said, "How was date night with Frank?" And I'm like, "Oh, we had."
Yeah, I had a coworker that was an Oracle developer at work, and I just kind of hit him up for different things, and he was more than happy to help me through that class.
Yeah. And so I remember that was another one that was kind of this big jump, but it was a lot more clear. We're working on these things, having to have these done. We're building on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like as a programming job, you don't typically switch around languages that much. Like I do backend stuff, so I work in stored procedures and SQL most of the day, but I also do like some HTML stuff, but not very much.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as topics, if we do 2 a week starting next week, then we'll be done on week 9, and then week 10, no one really has to present. So if you have any questions on week 10, it's like
right.
open.
Or if we're having, and then while we're still there for the meetings, we can still help each other out to say, "Hey, I was working on this, and or he's asking for this. What did you guys do?" Or.
Mm-hmm. So like if someone submitted a topic that you haven't and they've gotten good feedback, you can see what he's more looking for.
Okay. So do we want to plan that we're going to meet on Tuesday nights? Because it looks like most want to do first of the week. Monday and Tuesday seem to be the better days.
Any day.
Yeah, that works for me. Either Monday or Tuesday around at 7. That was actually this was a perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good time for me too.
Yeah, and Tuesday is my better night to making sure I can be here by that time without having to have kids at youth activities and whatever. So we'll plan at this point, unless something comes up, we'll just plan that we're going to do Tuesdays at 7 Mountain Time.
Okay.
Works for me.
Is there anything else that you think we need to go over or do in this meeting, or?
I think we should fill in the rest of the.
Okay, just
topics.
down for the rest of the thing. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'll do 3. Topic 3, the application.
Cool.
Learnable applications. I'm hoping that's the easy one. I'm gonna have to relearn it.
I'm learning them all. That's just what it is.
I think that's APIs, I believe.
Okay. And I'll do 4. If we just want to go down the list.
Cool. And then, yep. I'm just going to put other people's names in. They don't show up, but it's kind of whatever.
Well, and then we can always adjust, say they never were here, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we'll
No.
know, we should know by then whether we're hearing something.
Yeah.
And so grade-wise, would it be beneficial if we just do a little PowerPoint whenever we study a topic and have it ready for, you said there was a week when he was going to review everything?
I mean, that might be a smart way to do it, yeah. That rather than like scrambling. Let's see here.
So on that professional review or whatever, so is that normally going to come from what we taught in a meeting for him to look back? And so we may be looking back through the semester to say, check me out here.
Yeah, it's pretty much just you being professional towards other students
Right.
and being like, yeah, I was there. I actually contributed kind of deal.
Yeah, that was my impression too. Is more or less saying that you showed up to your meeting and you contributed.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had jobs before like look at your Stack Overflow, like your profile and be, so how much have you contributed to Stack Overflow and whatnot, and then they determine from there if you were good fit or not. So
Yeah, because I'm a systems administrator, so it's very different.
Yeah, me too. I'm a systems administrator also. Yeah, it is nothing like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I work with the system administrators because they like pretty much do our server stuff, and then I just put our code on there.
Yeah, I get our developers always asking me for more hard drive space, more more of everything. Open this port, close this port.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I think we covered all that. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so then on our end weeks, you just, after week 10, you just said, we'll meet by,
Yeah, so like week 11 through the end of the semester, we just kind of had a Google Hangouts chat and we just talked in there, basically.
Okay. So do you have to mark that on here, on your thing, saying when you're going to meet, or it didn't matter at that point?
It didn't really matter at that point.
Okay.
So is this spreadsheet you're filling in what we're supposed to turn in this week?
Yeah, I was
this?
gonna upload it to the thing here. Yep, so in groups, files, folder, upload. I have a lot of stuff.
Now I'm just kind of curious, week by week, because then I'll put the upload code probably through our GitHub and probably reference that when we submit that in the class. But do we, each of us individually, have to submit code for all 14 of the topics?
Yeah.
So outside of our, what we train each other and present and stuff, we've got to submit that individually.
Yeah, so like this would be my servlet stuff, and you just like point them to your servlet code and be like, so here's exactly what we want, etc.
So I was planning to kind of just do a project for each whatever when I'm having him look at, so that there wouldn't have to do a lot of digging in the folder. So if like on Java Collections, it's the only thing for that project. Obviously, if you're opening it, it's going to go and show. Do I have to point more than the, the code or whatever, the commit code or whatever to say, go look here?
Yeah, so like if you wanted him specifically to look at this Java, I would like dig into the folders yourself so that he knows exactly what to look at.
Okay.
Versus him trying to dig and find your code, and maybe he'll find it, maybe he won't.
Okay, give him the exact path, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. So I'm saying if I'm running it right off the main and just putting all 5 topics off it in one thing together, if he opens it, it's the only thing there.
Yeah, I think I did that for this one. I mean, so you're still going to have like your build paths and
right, but I assumed he's not going to open the README file, the stuff that usually you download.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so I have my main function in this one that calls the Java collections.
Okay.
But I still have the Java collections, and I'm just I still linked them directly to this one, so
Okay, so
they get
you,
confused.
okay, and then on the, did you put do you have your familiarity sheet up on your GitHub, or you just submitted it through Canvas?
No, I just submitted it. I just
Okay, so you
Yeah.
just put the links that you need on your sheet, most of them being to your GitHub unless it's a video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you're saying open it up and go right to the one that says, here's the stuff to look at.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And then is there going to be a time that we need to actually be linked together on our GitHubs?
I mean, if you want to show someone your code, that's fine.
Well, I know,
I
but
could-
we can do that through sharing the screen as well.
Yeah, I could probably find.
No, I don't. I just know he
Like other
made the
people's stuff.
comment about that we may need to have branches where we're working their stuff as a group, but none of this looked like we were doing group things. We do teach each other.
Oh yeah, no, you don't really need to worry about that. But like, as far as repositories go, if you want like each one for a different thing, you can. So you'd have like Java collections and then threads down here.
Right, and that's what I was going to do. I just kept writing and wrote Java collection, and that's literally its own project.
Yeah, I put a lot of my stuff into the servlet one for some reason. I don't know. You pretty much
Okay.
just do it however you want, as long as you
Right.
link him to the right place.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah, because originally I was going to put it in just as, the CIT folder and just bring the, kind of files and projects down. And then I thought, or I could just make a new project every time I'm doing it. And that way it's only got the stuff in I want him to look at for that thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously if we're merging, two things together, then I could say, here they are.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else that you think we need to cover or need to take care of? So if we go to our groups and go under files or whatever, we should see that.
Yeah.
And we could turn that in other than tweaking however we're saying we're doing our stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
And does anything else need to be written in there?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I was trying to say what it said we needed to talk about in the review. I thought it was plan. So have you been on Canvas for a lot of your classes? So this is the first one I've had moved over and been on Canvas for this.
So this is the main one. One of my other classes I'm taking this semester, my only other class I'm taking this semester is gonna switch, I think, which is 336. But most of my other ones were just straight up on iLearn.
Right, and my other stuff's all still been on iLearn. It keeps saying they're gonna switch them over, and whatever. But this is the first one I've actually hopped over and have to kind of manage between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way? Like, it's harder for me on Canvas, at least I haven't figured it out, even with subscribing, to see when people have written to your post or...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did finally figure out how to find out how many posts I had done. I was able to put my own name in the little search bar. And
So if you go to grades...
Yeah, I took CIT 270 last semester, and yeah, they did Canvas as well. Takes a little bit to kind of get familiar with it.
And finding the actual due date. So I don't know if you look on yours, like I was looking at that dashboard, and for this class, it doesn't even put on the discussion boards as things that are due.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay, when, it says, oh, you can follow your dashboard and it'll always tell you when things are whatever. And I'll go into the modules and I'm thinking, well, it says I'm supposed to post an original post or replies with something by Thursday. How come that wasn't on the dashboard?
Yeah, I don't know about this class, but I took CIT 270, and I check the grades usually, and it'll tell you when things were due. I'm not sure if it does it in this one.
Yeah, because most of them always says April or whatever.
So this has that Saturday at midnight listed for all of them. For the discussion boards, anyway.
Right, but I think the original post or 3
Yeah.
replies have to be in by Thursday or something.
Yeah, and I think it breaks up in sections. If you scroll down, it might have the assignments down further below.
Yeah, it has like your familiarity review and stuff. I like Canvas because you can be like, yeah, I got a 10 out of this. I got like 5 on this one. You can like calculate your grade out and be like, so what am I going to get?
So the system before the iLearn, the one they're trying to whatever, it had a what if calculator.
Did it?
Yeah. Because this is gonna be that's how long I'm still floating around in doing school. I'm moving that slow. And this will be my 3rd system update change that I'll have gone through.
Yeah. And then off to the right, though, on Canvas, though, that once the professor grades something, he'll comment, and you can reply to the comment just off to the right.
Okay.
So, which is
Yeah.
kind of neat.
So
if you-
like there's comments over here.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat, especially if you turned it on. I had one where I turned it on time, but he selected as being late, so I was able to question that, and he was able to correct that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
when he
just
actually like grades this, you could see all your posts here, but
okay.
apparently you can't see him if you
Yeah,
haven't graded it.
and I'm not worried. So I found out that when you go just to the whatever discussion board is open, if you're actually, you just open it to look at what people are writing, and there's a little search bar. So right here, right there, if you put in your name, it'll pull up your posts and any comments that you made.
Nice.
And then and it'll just show your stuff.
Cool.
And so that's how I was able to count, I have enough or whatever. So see, it shows his replies or what people written, because you wrote his name. What do you want him to look for? But I was able to write in Melissa Moore, and I could see my original post and anything written by me.
That's way better than doing like Control F and typing in your name.
Yeah, no, so I just put it up there like, hey, where am I at on this? So I have spent some time to play to figure that out, but okay. Well, I appreciate you guys coming. I'm feeling better. I knew that if I just thought it'll be fine, but it seemed really vague. I would read the stuff and think, I'm reading a lot of words, but it's telling me nothing.
Yeah, I was feeling the same way. I felt like it just wasn't laid out, the specific deadlines and dates each week, and yeah, I guess the looseness of it's kind of bothered me a little bit.
Well, it seemed to be an unknown, and for me, he's like, it's like a work environment. There's not something I'm thinking, I don't know, because my work environment of my children, my piano lessons, I have certain goals that everybody's expecting.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
so neat.
Exactly, yeah, and we use various other ways of evaluating our work at my workplace as well, and grading and hidden deadlines and all that stuff as well. So there's no like you don't pull something out of thin air or anything. There's no surprises.
Right.
Mhm.
No vagueness.
All
Yeah,
right.
where I work as a programmer, there are like BSAs that write all the documents for us,
Okay.
and then we go in and code it, and then we have the users test it, and that's it.
So are all of you guys really close to being done, or where are you guys at?
This is my
First
last
school.
semester.
Okay.
I got 2 more after this. 2 more semesters, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have till the end of this year. That's my goal of getting finished up by then.
Okay. Yeah. And I think the last time I looked, mine said I was supposed to be done fall of 2019, but I was running 3 classes a semester for 3 semesters, and I dropped to 2 when they made me the Relief Society president. And so I think I'm closer to maybe having a year, like I'll finish, I think I'm spring of 2020. So I'm
Okay,
still
yeah.
like about a year. Well, I'll have 3 semesters left.
Yeah, this would have been my last one, but I took some time off last year and the year before. Otherwise, kind of delayed everything.
Oh no, I've done 2 weddings with schools with my 2 older children, and I've now am having my my one son is expecting our third grandchild in a month and just had one in October. Oh no, I'm like squeezing in, and he says, "Oh, are you going?" I don't know. It'll depend on what my classes are saying. Like, so yeah, it's been crazy times. But I keep thinking I'm so close. I don't want to stop, and I don't want to drop. I just need to get through this class.
Yeah, definitely. It's that time management makes it challenging.
Right. All right. Well, I know it's getting late, and we already kind of jumped on early. I appreciate it, and thank you so much for sharing your screen and showing us. I'm thinking I can survive, and I might actually really have my collections maybe filled out and done.
Awesome. And Mason, can you send out that that spreadsheet with all the information on there? So
he uploaded it. So if you go to groups.
Oh, okay, it's on the group. Okay.
Yeah,
He uploaded it to files.
Okay.
Right here. If you can't see it, just email out, and I'll definitely send it out. But you should be able to get to it.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay, and then in our so we can ask questions in just our own group chat, or we can put it on the board, or we can do it in group Hangout, Google Hangouts, whatever.
Yeah, so here's our group board for this week. I made a week 3 because I don't like how Canvas like blocks everything into the same thing, and you can't like do what iLearn does and like smush it all together.
Right.
And so I made a week 3 discussion. So next week we can use that.
Right. We don't have to scroll through all the old traffic. We can just find one for each week. Yeah. Cool. And we can do that ourselves.
Yeah, you can make discussions because we're pretty much admins, and you can make announcements.
Okay.
So like we can make an announcement saying.
So like I could have said, "Hey, we're meeting tonight," to be a little bit louder for our group.
Yeah. So we can be like.
And then do we want to plan to go to Zoom or a Zoom room or Google Hangouts to record? What do you think is going to be best to do the?
Zoom might be the best because I think you can set it up to record no matter if you're there or not.
Okay.
And
we may have to make sure to walk me through on that because if we use mine, because I don't normally, I have always allowed my room to be, open, but we've never had to record. I think only once or twice we ever really recorded our meeting.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hard.
Somebody's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's my background noise of my kids running around.
Well, that's why I usually say after 7 Mountain Time because my younger 2 go to bed at 8 o'clock. And so they aren't like saying mom or anything, and my older ones can manage themselves.
Awesome. Yeah. I have twin 7-year-olds, so they're
fun.
Wrestling each other down right now.
Yeah, and my youngest just turned 8 in October.
Oh, cool. Yeah, mine will turn 8 next month.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's super exciting times. Yeah, my youngest, he loves that he can tell everybody he's an uncle. He was best man. He's like, I've been a best man. I'm now an uncle. Yeah, so my oldest is 26.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah,
Man, he's older than I am.
Yeah, so I have a 26-year-old, a 25-year-old, almost 23. I have a senior that's graduating. He'll be 18 in February. We're getting mission papers filled out right now. And then I have a 15-year-old, and then almost 11. She turns 10 in January, and then our 8-year-old.
Oh wow, awesome! Yeah, my oldest is a 14-year-old. Well, she turns 14 on Friday.
Yeah, my daughter was the My Maid president for a month, and now with the new changes is already a Laurel because she moves up because she'll be turning 16 this year, and she's like, I didn't really get to do anything, and I said, well, that's the way things roll sometimes. But then I'm thinking, wait a minute, I had till October to think about her dating. What do you mean she's in the Laurel group already?
Yeah, it was like that for my 7-year-olds. Starting with the new program, so starting this year, they started into Boy Scouts, but then the scout leader's like, well, it's up to you if you want to buy shirts or not, because we're done at the end of the year.
Right. And we were kind of slow dragging our feet, kind of that same thing, knowing they're going to phase it out. But he was so excited about having it. And we've tried to decide when it actually comes time if we're going to just maybe move him to a scout school troop to let him keep doing it for a while.
Yeah, we're thinking that might be happening as well, but we'll see how well they like
That's
it
right.
so far.
That's right. All right. Well, I appreciate it. And are you guys going to make it to the live meeting from the on Thursday?
I'm planning on it.
Yeah, same here.
Might.
Yeah,
I
I
would
know
have
he said he was going to record it. I coach bowling, and the league that I coach for and stuff is Thursday nights, and I don't know if I can get out of it. So I might just be watching the recording.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get some insights or some hints on how they better manage the course from it. So if not, I might be asking some of the same questions to kind of push more specific details.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Good luck with the rest of the week.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Yep. See you.